I would much rather reward an employee who pursues 3 actions and generates $1 million in value than an employee that pursues 50 actions and generates $500,000 in value. So it's better to pursue fewer actions with a bigger upside. So often strategy is overly complicated. Today I'm going to keep it very simple and explain what strategy is and how it combines with finance in order to drive value in organizations. So let's go ahead and get into it. Strategy comes down to this. It helps an organization to focus its attention on solving the number one constraint that the business is facing. That's it, right? So strategy helps organizations to focus on the most important thing in a world where there are a ton of distractions and there's a lot of complication, especially in business. Business leaders are overloaded, they have too much on their plates, and oftentimes CEOs introduce the flavor of the day, confusing the crap out of their employees, right? So when it comes to strategy, it's all about having a system to drive results. That's what I want to talk about today. So when it comes to strategy, the first thing you need to do is to identify the strategic problem your organization is facing. This is the number one constraint that's holding your organization back from growing. If you don't solve this constraint, guess what? The constraint doesn't go away. And if you scale your organization, all you're doing is scaling your problem. So you have to solve the problem. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck, spinning your wheels, spending a ton of time, energy, and capital on your business until you resolve this problem. That's why I spend so much time upfront on identifying what is the strategic problem. So I know we have a new year coming up, and a lot of organizations are going to be engaging in strategy. I would say the biggest miss when it comes to strategy is that leaders, they just want to jump in and they want to get into the tactics, right? They want to get into the actions. But that's so far down the line. That's after you have a strategy in place. You identify your initiatives, your actions, and your results. That's what I refer to as IARs. But leaders, oftentimes, they want to get into the actions because it's fun, right? You talk about recreating a website, redoing the brand, hiring a business development manager, implementing this project management software, whatever it may be, those are all actions that roll up under initiatives. So the first thing you need to do when it comes to strategy is you have to identify what is the problem you're trying to solve with your strategy. Once you identify what the problem is, it's time to move on to exploring strategic options. This is where you look at a variety of options and you ask yourself, okay, what does winning look like? What's the shared aspiration? What's our market focus and position? In other words, what geographies are we going after? What channels are we going to use to get to our customers? What stage of production are we entering in when we position ourselves in the market? So that's market focus and position. Then you move on to competitive behavior. And you have to understand, okay, are we going after a differentiation strategy, after a cost leadership strategy, or after a focus strategy? And then you evaluate the resources and returns by pursuing this specific strategic option. And at the center of all of this is your ideal customer profile. So you iterate over and over again. You look at a variety of options and you look at which option is going to be most desirable, practical, and economical, and will allow you to overcome this problem that your organization is facing. So that process is really critical. Once you have options narrowed down, it doesn't mean you have to just bet the whole entire company on one option. You may have 2 options you're considering. I would say then just go out there and perform tests. That's the key. You just want to go out there and experiment as quickly as possible to determine whether or not an option, like I said, is desirable, practical, or even economical. Once you have a strategy in place and you're really clear on where you're going to compete, how you're going to compete, and ultimately how you're going to win, and the returns are attractive enough to pursue that option, then you're ready to define your initiatives, your actions, and results. Your initiatives do 4 things. They, number 1, help you to overcome your strategic problem. That's why beginning with the problem is really critical. Number 2, they help you to enhance the customer experience. Number 3, to foster innovation. And number 4, to build competitive advantages. Once you have your initiatives in place, and I would recommend no more than 5. 5's a lot. I'd do like 1 to 3 to start out. You could always add on. And remember, your initiatives are long-term in nature, typically 3 to 5 years in duration. Then it's time to get into the actions. This is where you hypothesize and you think, what action, if pursued, will move the needle? In other words, what has the biggest upside? What will advance our initiative forward? This is where a lot of companies go astray because they list out a ton of actions, and I don't know if they just like having a lot of things on their plate or what, but there's no prize for the number of actions you complete. Really, the prize is in the value that you create along the way. So I would much rather reward an employee who pursues 3 actions and generates $1 million in value than an employee that pursues 50 actions and generates $500,000 in value, because they're going to be wasting a lot of time. There's going to be a lot of meetings, a lot of resources that are soaked up pursuing all those actions. So it's better to pursue fewer actions with a bigger upside. So like I said, when it comes to designing your strategy for this upcoming year, avoid going right towards the actions, right? Don't get into the tactics. Take a step back and start with the process that I outlined for you. Remember, define your strategic problem, explore your strategic options, determine whether or not an option is desirable, practical, and economical. And once it is, define your initiatives, actions, and results, and then go out there and build, measure, learn, and adjust along the way. And when you follow the system over and over again, your probability for success will be incredible. I wish you all the best. If you need any help with this in your organization, you could always reach out to us at Coltivar.com. Be sure to share this if you found value. That would mean the world to me. And until next time, take care of yourself. Cheers.